Hey man, what's up? What's happening? You already know who it is and what it is. It's your boy Nephew Q, host of Conversations with Q, a show about life, love, entertainment, sports, culture, society, and everything in between. But before we get into today's installment, I got in the building sports and discourse host Derek Stevenson, aka D Money, in the building. So y'all already know who D Money is, man. Y'all already know what it is. So when D Money was on the show, we usually go over these situations that we get. We talk about them and give our advice on what people should do in these situations. So today's topic that we're going to discuss and go over is my toxic mother-in-law is putting my marriage in danger. Goes a little something like this. My husband and I have been married for 25 years. Right now, our marriage is in trouble because I have been ordered to rekindle a relationship with his mother, whom I haven't spoken to in 6 years. In my opinion, the woman is toxic. For 17 years, she has essentially stabbed me in the back. At my husband's request, I forgave her each time. I love him, but I have to come to realize he always takes her side, and in my eyes and in his eyes, she can do no wrong. 6 years ago, we had an issue regarding her spanking my children. I asked to meet in a neutral location to discuss it, but she and my husband's stepfather refused. To resolve the situation, I agreed to meet at their home under one condition. If an argument began, my husband and I would leave. We even drove there separately. Upon our arrival, my father-in-law began screaming at me, so I left, and I've had no contact with my in-laws since. My husband says if his mother goes to her grave without the issue being resolved, he'll never forgive me. I told him I did nothing wrong, and I have no intention of rekindling a relationship with his mother. Man. To top it off, my husband and his mother have been putting ideas into one of our children's head and now he is telling me I make everything awkward and I should fix the problem. Help, what should I do? Money, there's a lot going on here, baby. Yeah. And you being the married one, what's going on with this situation?
Man, look, here's the honest truth, man. And some people might not agree with me, but I'm just keeping it 100. When you marry somebody, you have to put them above everybody.
They come first.
That's even over your kids and all of that.
All right, okay.
Because at the end of the day, like I'm going to give you an example, right? Like I had a stroke and I was off work for a whole year. Mm-hmm. My daughter wasn't taking care of me.
Who was taking care of you?
My wife was. My daughter wasn't checking on me every day. And my daughter loves me to death. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, I'm building my life with my wife.
Right.
Not my parents. Not my kids.
Because they eventually going to build their own life too, right?
If I go to the nursing home, and there's a natural order of things, my parents are going to be gone.
Right.
My daughter hopefully will have her own family. Mm-hmm. She ain't going to have time to be worried about me because she might have a husband or shit in today's society, a wife, who knows? Children, you know what I'm saying? So the person that I'm going to have to rely on is my wife. So everybody comes after my wife. It just is what it is. Now, in a perfect world, you would have a synergy between families and fortunately for me, I have this. Like, I'm cool with everybody in my wife's family. She's cool with everybody in my family. My wife took my mom and her mom and went on a cruise. So that's just the type of relationship that you hope for, where everybody's cool. But if you ever was in a situation where you got to make the choice, I love my parents to death, but I ain't married to my parents.
Facts.
I'm married to my wife. So at the end of the day, if I had to cut one of them off, I mean, it is what it is. I have to cut my parents off. Ooh. I could never allow my parents to disrespect my wife.
Especially if you've been married for 25 years.
Yeah, but I think my parents would already know what type of time it was if they did that. I would never stand and watch, my parents or anybody for that matter, disrespect my wife. You know what I'm saying? Like if you marry somebody, you have to be willing to sacrifice your entire life for that person. So what that means is I have to be willing to die to protect my wife. So that's from everybody. If it's your parents, your kids, whatever the case may be. So he might be a little bit of a sucker.
I was thinking it as you was talking, like,
you know what I'm saying?
Might be a little simp. Like, he can't.
But like I said, maybe some people don't agree with what I'm saying, but But I wouldn't allow my parents to disrespect my wife. My wife wouldn't even have to open her mouth because she wouldn't have to argue with my parents because I just wouldn't allow it.
Couple of things in this story that we were sent that I wanna touch on. The first part is that she said, I have been ordered to rekindle my relationship. It's one thing to suggest, it's one thing to mention,
For
it's
sure.
one thing to, want that synergy like you.
Absolutely.
But for you to say I've been ordered, first of all, I'm not your child. You're not going to order me to do nothing. So the fact that he ordered her to rekindle the relationship when she hadn't spoken to her in 6 years, and the fact that she feels like in her husband's eyes, his mother can do no wrong, that lets me know you're never gonna win this battle, because he's never gonna turn his back against his mom. And let's see, y'all been married for 25, and for 17 years she's been stabbing you in the back. Well, honey, that ain't gonna happen till, unfortunately, they throw dirt on her face. Like, so you got a decision to make. Do you endure because you love your husband that much? Or does it just become too much and you lose a marriage because he won't check his mom? And so, and then also, another part, when she was talking about going to the in-laws' house, she said, upon our arrival, my father-in-law began screaming at me. First of all, like, goes back to what you said. Now, I'm not married, ain't never been married. But you're not great. I don't care who. You're not great. Raise your voice on my wife, bro.
And I'm not even saying, like, there's probably nothing on earth that my father could do to make me put hands on him, because I love my father. You know what I'm saying?
As you should, right?
My biological mother passed away when I was 6. My daddy raised me by himself for a large portion of my life. Now, he had some quality women that came behind my mom and then eventually married my stepmom. And my stepmom is so 100 that I don't even feel like I have trauma from losing a parent.
Okay.
So there's nothing that my daddy could do that would ever make me feel like I would have to put hands on him. But I wouldn't stand there and allow him to say crazy shit to my wife. Okay, if we in your house, I'm not going to disrespect you in your house,
come on, baby, let's go.
But we not going to be in your house.
Yeah, come on, baby, let's go.
And if you in my house,
you gotta go.
Yeah.
You gotta go.
And I might not hurt my father, but if I had to pick my father up and help him out my crib, I help him out the door.
Help him out the crib. Okay.
Yeah, I be real delicate with him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
My dad's 72. I be real gentle with him, but I give him a nice little boost out of the crib. You know what I'm saying? And that's just how it is to me. Like, that's just the way I see it.
But you know what's crazy? Another part in this story that I'm looking at, the fact that her husband, I don't know if blackmail is not the right word, but maybe it'll come to me as I read this sentence. She says, my husband says if his mother goes to her grave without the issue being fixed, he'll never forgive me. He's putting so much unnecessary pressure on her. Bro, what about your mama? You know what I'm saying? Like, I just often wonder, why are you scared of your mom? Like,
Yeah.
We're all afraid of our parents to a certain extent, right?
For sure.
But you shouldn't be that afraid to where you can't speak up to your mother in this situation. And then on top of that, you tell your wife you'll never forgive her if y'all don't fix this issue. So if she unexpectedly passes away and y'all don't resolve, so now you're going to be mad at me for the rest of our marriage? Like, what type of shit is that? But you ain't mad at your mama for not trying to fix nothing?
Man, listen, like I said, I love my parents to death. I love my stepmom like she's my biological mother. And if she got into it with my wife real bad, then me and my stepmom probably just wouldn't have as great of a relationship.
As simple as that.
But I would want them to work it out. But if it can't be worked out, like I said, I'm riding with my wife. It just is what it is, man.
And then the last point that's fucked up. To top it off, my husband and his mother have been putting ideas into one of the children's head. Like, when you start involving children in a grown-up situation, like, that's when the shit has to stop, dog. Mm-hmm. And the fact that the husband and his mother have been putting ideas, now we don't know how old the children are, so I'm assuming they're impressionable, so I'm gonna guess anywhere between 8 to 13, 14 type of range, because anything after that, the child can make up their mind for themselves.
Yeah. But
the fact that the husband and the mother are putting ideas into the child's head why would you involve children in a situation? And as a husband, as a man, why would you do that?
Yeah.
To the like what?
Well, I put it like this. I feel like you got to protect your relationship, right? And what I mean is, there's only a few people that ever even seen me have choice words with my wife. Because I don't want to, I don't want people to develop any kind of feelings about my wife if they saw me arguing with her, or you know what I'm saying. I always project a positive image. So like if my wife was right behind the camera and we was mad at each other, you wouldn't know it.
I feel like that's how it should be.
Man, listen, I'm gonna tell you a funny story, right? So Ike's my man, right?
Right.
So me and Ike and Ike's wife and my wife, we all real cool. My wife's cool with his wife. So when they was on their honeymoon, they FaceTimed me and my wife. Me and my wife was in the crib having a serious issue. I'm talking about
say something else, boy.
Nah. We was having some problems.
Okay. Which I got on the phone.
Hey,
like
FaceTime. I pick up the FaceTime. My wife jumps in the picture. We talked to him for about 15 minutes. And then after we hung up, we got back to the shits until we figured it out. You know what I'm saying? But I don't argue with my wife on some like, I'm going to leave you type of shit. Or I argue with my wife to find an understanding so we can get back to a healthy place.
You a mature ass dude, Derek.
I mean, man, I don't plan on leaving my wife, man. I'm locked in. We got, grandkids together now. So, I can't really ever get emotional enough. Sometimes I feel like leaving my wife, you know what I'm saying? She get on my motherfucking nerves sometimes, and I probably get on her nerves, you know what I'm saying? But when I come to my senses, I realize okay, I got to fight to come to an understanding where I can have a healthy relationship with my wife, not to try to win the argument or, you know what I'm saying,
How do you do that, though? Not to cut you off, just man to man, because we have egos. And you said something interesting. You said not to try to win the fight. So a couple of questions. How do you have the maturity to put your pride and ego to the side to realize I'm not trying to win the argument. I'm just trying to have an understanding. How do you do that?
It's tough, man. And I definitely ain't gonna lie to you and say that I 100% am always in control. Sometimes, man, it might take me a day and a half or maybe 2 days to get clear and be like, okay, now I gotta talk to my wife on some real shit. Cause sometimes you might get into it and you just going crazy and people just wilding. Then you got to step back from it a little bit. But yeah, we have some moments where it might be a little weird. But we don't never stop doing husband and wife shit.
Right.
Like we could be mad at each other. She's still gonna fix me some food. I'm still gonna go to the store for her.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We never gonna not do our duties
to each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we might have some moments where we ain't seeing eye to eye. So then, you know what I'm saying? I might text her the next day and be like, hey man, I'm ready to talk to you so we can figure out how to move forward.
How do you, after the initial argument, how do you go back into it with a level head, not getting upset again about the argument y'all already had? As far as from a man's standpoint, obviously, because we don't have a woman here to give her viewpoint. But how do you go back into the disagreement with a level head, not to get upset like you did before?
Because it's easier when you revisit, in my opinion, because I'm not emotional.
So you've detached yourself from
I'm not, whatever we was having issues about, I'm not really in the same mind frame as I was when we was having the issues. So now I can just talk to you like a regular person. And I can be more willing to be understanding, you know what I'm saying? So I could just come and be like, all right, so what's going on? Oh, well, you did this. And I'd be like, word. So when I did that, how'd that make you feel? It made me feel like you didn't whatever. I'd be like, oh, cool. I can see where you may feel like that. But this is how I really feel. And then we can just work through it like that. You know what I'm saying? man, I'm gonna be real with you. The thing about women is women are always in an emotional state of how they feel, and it changes a lot. So one minute a woman might feel one way, the next minute she feels something different, and men just usually think logically about shit, right? So a lot of the times your actions, women just look at how it makes them feel. So you might just come in the crib one day and look funny at your wife, but it make her feel like you don't love her. So to her, that's a real feeling. But to you, you're like, come on, man, you know I love you. Because that's logical.
It's just a long day.
So you got to be like consciously aware of that type of shit when you approach your woman. You know what I'm saying? So usually, like, when I step away from something and then I give myself some time to reflect. But I'm cool with just being honest about shit. Like I said, I ask my wife all the time if she's happy, she's satisfied. And I don't mind if she tell me like, nah, you ain't post me on Facebook in a month. Shit like that.
You don't have to tell me anything specific, but has there been situations where you've opened the door and either one or two things happened? She blindsided you with something you wasn't even aware of. Like, damn, I didn't even know I was fucking up like that. Or was there a situation where she said something to you and it hurt? Because like she was not necessarily criticizing or saying that you did something that was making her unhappy, but she was saying something about you yourself, and it kind of hurt.
I'm sure. I can't really.
That's what I'm saying. You ain't got to get into.
I can't really think
like that.
Of a particular instance off the bat, but yeah, I'm sure both of those things have happened.
As a man, how do you bounce back from that though? Because we like to act like don't shit hurt us, but we both know women cut deep.
But like I said, it's the emotional state of women.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times you just gotta have thick skin with women, because women will get mad and they'll say or do anything,
whatever.
You know what I'm saying?
Whatever.
So sometimes you just gotta go,
all right.
You know what I'm saying?
You gotta make the Derek Stevenson face.
You was just in your feelings and you said what you said, but it ain't really how you feel. Sometimes you just gotta be cool enough to just know that that's not really how she feels, and let it go for real.
Whew. So final verdict for this lady with the toxic mother-in-law. What should she do? How should she handle this?
It's a tough situation because she's already so invested. And something should have been done years ago. It's kind of your fault because you accepted that behavior for so long that it's like, how can you ask somebody to change it? Like, that's something you should have had a conversation with your husband immediately about that type of shit.
Mm-hmm.
And if he really rocks with you, then he should have been like, okay, I'm gonna fix this. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like if it's two parties and you love your wife and your mom, then you should try to help resolve it.
I was getting ready to say, why don't you be a mediator instead of involving everybody else? Hey, look, mama, come on over. We're gonna sit down at the kitchen table. We're gonna hash this out. You let mama say whatever she gotta say that she don't like about the situation, the marriage, or her. All right, mama. And tell your wife, don't say nothing. Let her say whatever she got to say. Don't interrupt. Mama, you done? You cool? You sure? All right. What don't you like? And then so now you can try to hash it out. But I agree with you.
But you gotta be willing to stand on business. Meaning,
on business.
If it can't be resolved, then you gotta bye to your mama, dog.
She's just gonna have to take that L.
Yeah,
take that L. I'm right there with you.
But it ain't even really a L if your mama don't love your wife.
And to piggyback off of that,
your mama should love your wife.
She should, but unfortunately, real life, that's not always the case. And in those situations, the mom and her son, or in the case of husband, should both be mature enough to be like, hey, look, I love you, love the grandkids, not so much your wife. As long as she's not disrespectful to me, I'm not going to be disrespectful to her, because you're going to have to be around for family gatherings, birthdays, Christmases, Thanksgivings. As long as the mother-in-law can be like, I'll be cordial as long as she's cordial. All right, cool. Y'all ain't got to like each other, but disrespect each other. Yeah. But to me, homie's a sucker.
Yeah.
For going on 25 years, letting this go on, letting his wife get dragged through the mud, involving the kids now in this situation. So like you said, she has a serious, and like you said, she's invested 25 years of her life. So it's not just that easy for her to just pack up and just leave. But for this one, she got to stand on business. And let her husband know, you got a choice to make. It's either, I don't want to do this, but it's been 25 years. I don't know how old they are, but I'm not going to spend the next 25 or until your mother passes having this situation. So you need to make a decision. It's either your mom, if that's what, okay, cool, I respect that, and we have to, do what we need to do, or you choose me. But I'm not getting ready to do this for the rest of my life with your mama. Make a decision. But anyways, y'all let us know in the comments what y'all think she should do in this situation with a toxic mother-in-law, what you would do in this situation. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to Sports and Discourse with Derek Stevenson on YouTube. Make sure you download the podcast on all major podcast streaming platforms. If you have a situation that you want us to discuss, hit me up in my email. You can do it anonymously, conversationswithq22@gmail.com. We'll give you some advice on what we think you should do. And make sure, as always, you download the podcast as well on all major podcast streaming platforms. We getting ready to get up out this thing, y'all. Treat somebody how you want somebody to treat your mama. We out. Peace.